but all the guys who work today and high spot, 7 RKOs, that's what the matches have turned to. And that's why I said the story outside of it has to push that along, because the matches have turned into like, it's both sides of it. What he was saying about the finishes and rolling somebody up and oh my God, there was a pin right there. Holy cow, that was so cool. That doesn't happen anymore. Versus what happens today. Everything is high spot. Everything. New Japan. It's a lot of it.
But But the thing is, though, that's what attracts the wrestling fan now.
See, now,
to me, it doesn't.
When you look at, to me, one of the greatest matches across any platform was Taker Michaels won at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The first time the two of them went at it. And they told the story of good versus evil, you haven't beaten me. I'm Mr. WrestleMania, you have the streak, but you haven't beaten me in a big spot. I'm the guy I'm your kryptonite. I'm the guy you can't beat. They told that story. They led up to it.
Two legends they let do that.
Right.
They're not letting these idiots nowadays do anything.
Right. But then that match made that story. If that match sucked,
the culmination of it was the whole thing.
If that match was awful, right? People would be like, that was a waste.
And like you said, New Japan, they're not all about the high spot, by the way. There's a lot of guys in there that are ground and pound, and it's not all about the high spot with New Japan, but they have some guys that like Will Ospreay. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
Yeah.
One of the highest flyers I think I've ever seen. But again, he's young.
I think I just figured out who we can give the WWE or the Universal Championship to.
Me?
Evan Bourne.
Ain't he dead?
No, he's just really hurt.
Okay.
He's just really hurt.
Or he was. I think he's back in Ring of Honor.
Okay, very good. Very good. But it's like the high spot guys, the not so high spot guys, because a lot of guys do stuff, they do high spot moves. But like you said, seven RKOs, it's Randy Orton. Who cares?
Well, I'm saying in general. Whatever insert finisher here, you know what I mean?
No match ends without a finisher anymore.
Not even one.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
Like 7.
Finisher used to mean something.
Exactly.
And you always knew that it was one of the reasons that, in my opinion, Sweet Chin Music was one of, if not the greatest finisher, because you had the build up to it, the tuning up the band and everything else, but then you had the hitting it from any point. At any point, just crack it off, and it meant the end of the match.
It was done.
Shelton Benjamin up on the ropes across the ring, Sweet Chin Music, match over.
Right.
After a fantastic match.
As opposed to the 97 spears from Roman Reigns to The Undertaker.
Right. And that's the thing.
19 Superman punches.
When you look at it, you got that Taker Michaels match. You have, what was it? 2 tombstones, a last ride, a choke slam, and Hell's Gate. All got hit throughout the match, but it wasn't a 10-minute match either.
Yeah.
That it had some time.
It was a battle. It was a war.
Right, and that whole feud, when it culminated after the second one, and then the 2 Triple H matches. That second Triple H match was when that started getting ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
Well, I mean, that match had how many finishers? How many? 3 pedigrees, 2 Sweet Chin Musics, 4 tombstones not by the Undertaker. That's when it started getting ridiculous, I think.
I think, though, I don't know if it's so much a talent, but it's like, wrestlers now, are they limited to what they can do in the ring?
I think they're limited by what they're told they can do.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
You had, back in the days, these guys would do their own match in the ring for the most part.
They'd call it.
Nowadays, they're getting scripted out. Hey, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Insert your own move here, but then this is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now you see other organizations like New Japan
killing it,
and as we've all been watching wrestling for a long time. Are we that desperate for somebody to come up against Vince?
A little competition.
Yes.
Competition.
That's when wrestling was at its highest form.
Because right now, the WWE knows there's nothing that can touch me.
Yep.
If we can sit here and piss and bitch and moan about the Wombats and the shitty writing and everything else. which I don't remember the last time I saw a lengthy story culminate in something I cared to watch. Because anything lengthy is mid-card or lower, and everything up at the top of the card, which they push, is
Quick
this
hit,
week's feud,
yeah.
this week's feud, this week's feud, and it's quick hit, and then we're shuffling people around to change it because we're going through so many rivalries so quick. But you look at it, Vince knows it doesn't matter what product he puts out. We can sit here and say New Japan's better, New Japan's better, and they hold the kendo stick elimination chamber at fucking HSBC or whatever, KeyBank Center, whatever the hell it's called now. We're all gonna go
True.
Yeah.
because
Valid point.
what else? What other choice do we have?
Yep.
Right.
There's local stuff around here. There's you
At the end of the day, it's not gonna
go
affect
to
their
TNA anymore
dollars.
because they film exclusively
In Orlando.
in Florida.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Yeah, well, they got some. They've got some
talent.
good talent there. I mean, they have EC3. They have Eddie Edwards.
beautiful people.
They have Bobby Lashley.
I think LAX actually isn't that bad for
LAX.
action.
LAX isn't bad. I mean, that's what. I mean, for a group they mesh.
Yeah.
They mesh. They know.
There's a local boy from around here who's in TNA.
That's right. And
My boy Braxton Sutter. He's
Now-
actually a trainer at our gym. And cheap.
There's
cheap
that
pop
poster.
shirt.
Here you go. Yeah.
Here in Buffalo, New York.
Here in Buffalo, New York, he trains at WTF Gym.
but that was awesome.
And we're going to have him meet at the Transit Music Lounge very soon.
But
I mean, that's like Jesse himself is actually a guy who is a tell to what the industry is. He's in his mid to late 30s now. He's worked for 17 years, and just got on TV with TNA last year. Everything else he was Pepper Parks in Ring of Honor, and he worked his ass off and had probably one of the greatest gimmicks. Him and his wife, who was an absolute sweetheart. I have one of their shirts. It's Sex, Weights, and Protein Shakes. It's awesome. Wow. And they have 2 or 3 of them. They're two of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
But you look at a dude. I mean, you look at his his physique, his build, the stuff he can do in the ring, everything else, and you're looking like, and that dude's getting
Nothing.
mid-card stuff in TNA. Meanwhile, muscle-bound freaks and the Great Khali, who can't even bend his goddamn knees anymore, are headlining Great Balls of Shit.
Yeah. I like that name. That's a good one.
Great Balls of Shit is my new favorite one.
Yeah.
I think that should
Sorry, I think it
be.
works.
That's the October pay-per-view this year.
I don't want to see the logo for that.
It's just the pile of
Well,
emoji.
if we're gonna keep going with the Great Khali and the Roy Haraja, just have a gigantic elephant's ass dropping shit.
Drop it on a Haraja.